The Brexit deal has just failed miserably in the UK. 202 members of Parliament voted for Theresa May's Brexit deal. 432 voted against her deal. Bill Neely, our correspondent there, is standing by with us. Bill, tell us about this loss. Tell us what it means for what is left of the May government and what it means, most importantly, for the future.
Brian, good afternoon. You called it miserable. It is also historic. That defeat is 230 votes. Not for 100 years has that happened. The last time a government was defeated by anything like that was in 1924 when a Labour government was defeated by 166 votes. This trumps everything. So Theresa May is still in office. She hasn't resigned, but she is not in power. And of course, the big question now is what next? Because at the moment, there is no plan B. So after that defeat, Theresa May stood up defiantly and said, first of all, she would talk to other political parties in the UK. Then she will go back to the European Union. But the main opposition party has tabled a motion of no confidence in her. Now, for party political reasons, because she has a slim majority in the House of Commons, she is likely to win that vote. But Brian, it doesn't really get us any further. On March the 29th, Britain, whether it has a deal or no deal, will leave the European Union. That's just over 70 days away. And right now, there is no mechanism by which Britain will leave apart from just crashing out. So, Britain tonight, is a divided country, and we now have a totally defeated government.
Is there, Bill, a mechanism where voters will take this on again, where there will be a freer and more fair campaign? I know the EU came back at the UK more aggressively than anyone had foreseen, but do you think this will be up to the voters again?
Well, there is the possibility of a second referendum. We had a referendum. It was a straight in or out vote. Do you want to be part of the European Union or not? And the result was 52-48. Now, in many straightforward elections, that would be seen as a straight majority. But in a referendum that was meant to be simply advisory, it was a terribly contentious result. So there are dangers in asking people, look, we heard you the first time, but actually we want you to vote again. A lot of people are really worried that that could, for example, provoke violence. It would increase people's distrust in the whole political process. And Brian, there are parallels here between the UK and the US. We have seen a rise in populism, if you like. We have a divided country. We have, as demonstrated tonight, gridlocked government, a parliament in paralysis, and now people are calling for some kind of way to get us out of this, whether it's a general election or a second referendum. But the way ahead is not clear, and Britain has never been in this position before. I mean, for 75 years, since World War II, Britain has had a policy of close integration with Europe, and for 45 years, membership of the European Union, the world's biggest trading bloc. That, in just over 70 days' time, is due to end, and no one knows right now how that exactly will end.
Yeah,
right?
In your description, it kind of sounds like a contagion. Think of it, these two pillars of the special relationship, these two pillars of the post-war alliance. Thank you so much for that live report from London. Bill Neely.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.